Oh, it's pretty much the last of the S3 parcels to go and get sent out. Absolutely buzzing because garage has been a tip for ages. Happy to get rid of it. The last in the collection point there, she's like, "What are you doing, recording yourself?" I'm like, "Oh, I make videos for YouTube, you know, I'm just trying to make the video a little bit more interesting." So, "Oh no, you can't record in here." "Oh no, absolutely not, against company policy. The only people that can record in here are like the police or the forces or something." And the forces? I said, "Oh, it's just as well I'm in the SAS, isn't it?" So of course, "Are you in the SAS?" I said, "No." Not anymore anyway. You do actually forget how much of a pain in the arse it is to break a car, because the last car that I broke was in 2004. God, so 15 years ago, and it was a Leon Cupra, and I paid 1,500 quid for it, and me and Spence went all the way to Essex to pick it up, and that was back in the day when 18T engines, I mean, you couldn't get a decent one for less than sort of 1,500 quid, 2 grand, and I gave 1,500 quid for a 51 plate Leon Cupra, and then I broke the rest of the car, and breaking the rest of the car gave us enough money to buy the KO4 turbo, get it mapped, get all the intercooler pipes made up, and paid for the diff as well, which was an essential in a front wheel drive 18T. But it's all the little bits that no one wants, you know, like the clips, the trims, all the little bits and bobs. I mean, I've done a few trip runs now. We took the shell to the scrapyard obviously, so it's just a lot of work, man. And don't get on to us about the messers. Oh, I've had to pull over here because we're gonna have to address the messer situation. Anyone that sells car bits or cars, all the rest of it, how the hell do you cope with the messers day in, day out? Because I'm a bit of a wheeler dealer. I'm constantly buying and selling bits, but my good God, I've had one guy meant to be coming for bits. He's had his going all week. On the Friday, "I'll come tomorrow." The Saturday, "I'm definitely coming tomorrow. I've had this with my family," and all the rest of it, understandable. The Sunday, no response. Me texting, "Are you coming, mate?" "Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I was in the pub last night and someone offered us like silly money for the car, so..." The worst one by far, I was going to be selling me S3 custom 3-inch exhaust that I had on my big turbo S3 for years. It was brilliant. It cost us like 900 quid from AAS in Newcastle. Absolutely brilliant system. Don't think you could find a better one. I'm not trying to sell it. But the kid was meant to come and buy it, and he was just excuse after excuse after excuse. And then eventually the excuse that he gave us was that his family was into breeding show cats. I know. One of his show cats had got poorly and the vet bill was going to be horrendous. So he's going to have to budget and he's going to have to leave the exhaust. But thanks any much anyway. Aye. If anything, it's just being amusing, honestly, the patter that people come up with. But yeah, now the S3 is out the way and I've made a little bit of money on the parts. I can channel some of them funds into this engine build that we're going to do for the Lupo. So I think we'll go back to the garage now and we'll get started. Right, enough about messers. I'm not complaining, honest. It's just part of selling stuff, isn't it? I mean, anyway, we're going to get fired into this engine now. This isn't actually the same engine that I was going to use. If you've seen the past videos, then you know that I was going to use a BAM engine from an 18T Audi TT. I was going to say Lupo there. I've got freaking Lupos on the mind. I was going to use the BAM engine that I had, but... And this isn't a boast, it's actually quite a hindrance to us, but I've got a few 18T engines. Quite a few. I mean, just down there is the 1900 fully forged engine out of my S3. Got one in the Lupo. Got one there. Still got the BAM engine as well. Maybe there's another too. But yeah, I decided that seeing as I'm just going to use the engine for just the block, it seemed a bit pointless breaking a BAM engine, because I'd read on Facebook that BAM engines were forged from refined unicorn horn and are good for like 1,000 brake horse, and it was on Facebook, so I mean it must be true, you know what I mean? So I decided not to use the balm, and I'm going to use this. This is an AGU engine, and AGUs are built stronger as well, aren't they? But yeah, I'm just going to use the block. I'm not going to use the head, nothing like that. I've got I'm not even going to show you. No, I'm embarrassed because it's a mess. But I've got heads there as well. I've got an EMK head with Supertech valve train and all the rest of it, and blah blah blah. This is an AGU engine out of a Mark IV Golf GTI, so large port head, 20mm wrist pins, all the rest of it. Non-VVT. Again, not using the head. Anyone want an AGU head? Let's go in here if you want it. So yeah, that's what this video is going to consist of mainly. Me pulling this engine to bits. If you like engines and all the rest of it, then you might find this interesting. Then again, if you don't like engines, then maybe this isn't the video for you. Let's get on with it. Oh, so there's the first cock up. God's sake, man. Never learn. Absolute mess. Right, the engine's the top dead centre at the top, and it's someone's also marked the bottom when they've done a cam belt job before. And the belt looks in good nick, to be fair, but I'm not planning on using any of this timing gear again. So the hydraulic, the water pump, the lock, the low go. So I'll just get snippy with the belt. Oh, that's a bit black now, isn't it, boyos? Lovely. Certainly not the worst I've seen, like, but still a bit banging. Quite a bit of carbon build up in there. It's actually a bit black and grimy. I mean, to be honest, it's not thick, like, so that stuff will clean up, and a lot of it will be from the fact that it's just been left for so long. But at the same time, oh, it is a bit dirty. You didn't want to see what the head's like in that. It's absolutely immaculate. It's still silver, which just goes to show, change your oil and you'll be alright. Again, not really that bad, to be honest, considering 18Ts. It's just like the build up of oil and carbon, but without a doubt could do with a refresh. Oh, and look at that. The sump plug's actually been helicoiled. Oh, hello there, little shavings. How lovely. Now that will be the shavings off when the sump plug's stripped. So them are just the threads from the sump plug, and you can tell because the magnet's not touching them. So they're the aluminium sump plug, them, and they're very brittle. Well, again, not the worst I've seen, but oh, not the best either. And I won't be using any of this again either, so can't see I'm too bothered about that. The oil isn't too bad. Right, let's carry on. So if you stripped an 18T before, then you know there's a specific tool to undo the crank pulley, because that thing's on fucking tight. But I don't have that specific tool, so instead I'm going to go for the highly calibrated specialist bit of equipment that is a block of wood. Aha! Ah! Ah, thank God for that. I was literally about to phone B&Q and complain about the wood. I was going to say, yeah, your wood's shit. Because I've used this technique before to unbolt this bolt. And it's worked fine every time. But how the hell am I going to continue building a shed with that now? I mean, it's goosed, isn't it? Honestly. I really should go and ask for my money back. So I've cleaned off the main bearing shells as well here, so you can see these are in really good nick too. Only very slight wear, I would say there, just slight patches of shininess. Nothing to be concerned about at all. To be honest, the only thing I'm concerned about with this engine is that in this day and age, VW are still making engines with wood in it. Right, I think that'll do for today, chaps. That's the engine completely stripped and ready to go to the machine shop. Last little check that you seen us do there was for the main bearing caps, just to make sure that they are completely round. Torque them down and then got the internal sort of calipers and measure them out, and they were all within 0.01 of a millimeter, around 59 millimeters. So really happy with that. So nice and round main cap journals there. And the rest of it, even though I'm not using all this, looked alright as well. I'm not going to bother measuring the crank or the pistons and nothing like that. I don't need to. We'll go through measuring my crank and my pistons that I'm going to be using sort of in the next video. And we'll talk about piston and wall clearance and all the rest of it. I've also got to decide which head I'm going to use. I am thinking at the minute that I might use the J&L Racing large port head that I've got here. It's an absolutely mint flowing head and it's got full Supertech valve train in the lot, so I might possibly use that. Or hidden away here I've got an AMK head with the Supertech valve train as well. So basically the difference is, do I want it to be small port or do I want large port, port and polished? Now that without a doubt is the better head, so I'll probably use that, but a little bit of deliberating about that because Spencer's got his eyes on this little 1.9 fully forged motor here, so we'll see if I can strike up a deal. So yeah, the project's really going somewhere now. We'll get this engine built done in no time. As soon as the machine shop gets the engine back, which will only take probably a week if that, chances are, you know, the next week or two, I'll have this engine together. There's just no reason to not have it. I've already started collecting bits, stuff like head gasket, I'm gonna have to order the main bearings and all that now, and now that I've measured that, I've already measured the crank, but I will show you that on the next video, I think. Obviously, if you are an engine builder or you are better at building engines than me, then don't shoot us too badly, but feel free to leave us comments or suggestions, any recommendations that you should make for me and my techniques. But I'm really open to anything, because like I say, this is just a hobby, it's not my profession. So thanks very much for watching, see you on the next one.